There are files that should never be opened twice. Black Hollow Ridge was one of them. It existed in old records, in faded ink, in census lists that quietly stopped being printed after the mid-1990s. No official statement ever explained why. No disaster report. No evacuation record that matched the scale of what was listed. 83 people were once recorded there, and then, nothing. Adrian Cross thought it was just a clerical gap, the kind journalists uncover all the time. But the deeper he looked, the more unnatural the absence became. Every system that once confirmed the village began refusing to acknowledge it ever existed. As if history itself had decided to forget, Eleanor Voss remembered too much for someone the records insisted should not exist. Her hands shook the moment she heard the village name, as though the sound itself carried weight. She described a morning where silence arrived before anything else. Government vehicles with no markings. Officials who refused to meet anyone's eyes. Metal markers placed into the ground like warnings instead of measurements. And then the disappearances began, not violent, not chaotic, just absence. People stepping out of rooms and never returning into them. She said the strangest part wasn't what she saw, but what she was told afterward, that she was allowed to leave only if she agreed to never explain what she had seen. Maps failed first. Then GPS. Then memory started to feel unreliable, as if even thinking about the destination made it harder to reach. The road Adrian found did not behave like a road should. It bent in ways that did not match distance. It extended further than fuel should have allowed. And yet, it led him there. The deeper he drove, the more the world outside became wrong, sound disappearing, wildlife vanishing, wind stopping completely. When the village finally began to appear, it didn't look abandoned. It looked paused. Like something had pressed stop on reality and never released it again. Inside the homes, nothing had decayed in a normal way. Dust existed, but time did not feel like it had passed properly. Meals still sat where they were left. Beds remained unmade as if someone might return at any second. Clocks didn't show different times across houses, they all showed the exact same moment. 2:17, not slightly off. Not malfunctioning in different ways. Identical. Adrian began to understand this wasn't abandonment. It was containment. Something had happened at that exact minute, and everything after it had been denied continuation. The basement smelled like sealed history. Mayor Mercer's journals were not written like normal reports, they were written like someone trying to convince himself reality was still stable. At first, it was sightings and strange noises. Then patterns. Then instructions that no one remembered receiving. The entries collapsed into fear near the end, sentences breaking mid-thought as if interrupted. And then came the final idea, never fully written, that the village was not being attacked, not being evacuated, but being removed. Not physically destroyed, but edited out of existence in real time. Night did not behave normally there. Darkness arrived too completely, like a lid closing. At exactly 2:17, everything changed. The silence became absolute, not just quiet but absent of expectation. Figures appeared between buildings, moving without urgency, without individuality. They did not walk like people returning to life or leaving death. They walked like instructions being followed. When one of them stopped beneath Adrian's window, there was no face to read, no expression to understand. Only the sense that it was aware of him without needing to look. The return was worse than the discovery. Evidence does not just disappear, it is unmade. Files corrupted without cause. Photographs losing detail as if reality refused to keep them. Conversations with officials that ended too quickly, too uniformly, as if responses had been pre-approved long before questions were asked. Even memory felt unreliable, as though recalling Black Hollow Ridge required permission that no longer existed. Adrian began to notice something terrifying. The less proof he had, the more convincing the silence became. The final map did not feel like a discovery. It felt like a mistake. For a brief moment, Black Hollow Ridge returned to existence on paper, like something blinking back into awareness. And then it faded again, not torn away, not erased by hand, but softened into nothing until only forest remained. That was when Adrian understood the true nature of it. The village was not hidden. It was not lost. It was being continuously removed from recognition itself. And the worst part was no longer what happened there, but how easily the world accepted that it never happened at all.